Hey everyone, this is Kevin from Kevin's Microfleet. Today I'm coming to you with another Micro Galaxy Squadron review. We're going to be taking a look today at the Jazzwares Vault exclusive, this Return of the Jedi collection, the Battle of Endor set. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the amazing packaging that they have. We'll take a look at all the different components this comes with. We'll do some measurements and then we'll do a comparison. Let's go ahead and dive into the review. So we're going to go ahead and start here with the packaging. So this is the shipper box that it comes in. I ordered 2 of these, so this did come inside of another bigger box that had 2 of these different shipper boxes in it. Some people that ordered just one ended up getting sent this box with a shipping label stuck on the front of it, so just kind of is what it is. It is a shipper box, so I wouldn't be that concerned about it. But this is your typical Vault packaging. So you can see here as we turn this around, it says Jazzwares Vault there on the side of it. On the top it says Vault Action Pack Collectibles. And that is that. This is taped, so got this taped here on the bottom. So we'll go ahead and open this guy up. They do a great job here with the packaging on these, where they do put these little protective pieces in here to keep this interior box in really good shape. So we'll go ahead and take that out. And then here is the interior box. This looks really nice. The packaging team did a fantastic job here with the artwork, not only on the actual item, which we'll see here in a second, but also on just these cardboard boxes. So I love that they've got the speeder on here and the ATST. As we turn this to the side, you see Star Wars there on the side. You get the same image on the back, Star Wars there on the top, and then nothing on the bottom. Now this is not taped, so we'll go ahead and open this one up. And there you can see right away when you open it, this great hollow foil Return of the Jedi. And then the material on this packaging is really nice. This is like a soft, gosh, I don't even know how to describe it. It feels very soft though. It's not like a firm plastic that you would end up getting, or firm cardboard. So we'll go ahead and take this guy out of here. It's in there pretty tight. Okay, and here's what it looks like. This is by far the coolest packaging that I've seen so far of any of the Micro Galaxy Squadron items. The one that came a while back, the Walmart exclusive that had it's the Evasive Action Battle Pack, had a very cool finish on it with the hollow foil. This thing looks incredible. The artwork here on the front with the Return of the Jedi, and then you get all of the stuff like a movie poster essentially. And then it says Micro Galaxy Squadron LE006, and then your Vault exclusive sticker 1 of 3000. On the side here, you've got Return of the Jedi as well. And then as we turn this around, you've got Return of the Jedi there on the back. Same thing on the side. And then there's the underside with a UPC, and then it's got a code on here for when it was made. And you can see on here, this was actually made on 12/26 of 23. So not that long ago, but long enough for them to get it all boxed up and packaged. Now, before I actually open this up so we can see the contents, they did a great job here with the Vault correcting some of the error that they made with the light armor class. This was 1 of 3000, which is great. So it's obviously more for people to be able to get, as well as when they opened up the item on Vault, there was a limit of 2 per person instead of 3. And so everybody had an opportunity to be able to get this, which is really nice. So when we open this up, again, I mean, look at that interior. That looks so cool. You get your ATST, your AT-AT in the Endor. This is the same image that's on the back of the packaging for the Endor AT-AT. And then you get this window here where you get a chance to see all of the different items you get. So you get your ATST, your pilot, you get an Ewok there on the glider, then you get your speeders, and then Luke, Leia, and a Scout Trooper. We're going to actually take this out of the packaging so that I can compare this to a lot of the other items that come with Micro Galaxy Squadron to see if there's any differences between them. So let's go ahead and do that. Before I do though, I mean, again, let's just take a quick second to admire the packaging here. The front looks really nice. Again, this like matte type finish on it is really, really nice for an item like this. I would say it is definitely worth it, and this will be displayed exactly like it is right now. It doesn't even have to have any items in it, just displaying the package like this is pretty cool. So let's go ahead and take this thing out of the box so we can take a look at all of the accessories that come with it. Now, as I started to open this up, I did want to just point this out really quick. So when you take this out of the box, it does come out in these two pieces. So you've got your ATST there and then all of that. So there you can see how that's all put together. And then with your speeders, it's pretty clever that on the inside here is where all of your stands are for all of the speeders. And for your Ewok glider as well. They're all inside that. Okay, let me just finish taking these back out and we'll keep moving along. So another part of the packaging that I wanted to point out here as I was taking this all apart, you can see that with this top part that had the ATST on it, there is an ATST there in the background. And then I wanted to take this apart to see, is this really like a scene that you could put together? And unfortunately, it's not. So even though you get this same image here that wraps around on the underside like that, if you do it like this, it just makes like, I mean, I guess you could maybe set that up. If you take all of these pieces off of here, you could essentially make this a scene of them flying on their speeders. And actually, I do see that here. This could be pretty good. So you can actually remove these blister packs off of here without damaging the actual cardboard piece. So here it is with that blister pieces removed, which is great because you can actually take them out and it doesn't damage the actual scene here in the background. So there it is with the speeder sitting in it. And what I did is just tape the back again. So just put a couple pieces of tape on there to hold that piece back. And you can really make this a little display if you wanted to, which is a great feature to the packaging. It's awesome that they didn't actually glue that little piece down on here, but they just have these little gaps so that you can end up removing all of the blister pack from it and be able to create its own little display scene, which is a really, really cool feature about this that I haven't seen anybody talk about so far. I mean, again, the packaging, the artwork on this is really, really nice. All right, so anyways, I've said this about 15 times. Let's go ahead and take a look at the actual items themselves. Okay, so we have a lot to talk about here. I've got our, this over here on the left side is the actual Return of the Jedi collection. And on the right side here are all of the items that we've got throughout the different series, which we're going to talk about some comparisons of them here as we go through this. So let's go ahead and we'll start with the Ewoks. So here is our Ewok on his glider. So you can see there is a slight difference here with the wash. So with the Return of the Jedi one, you can see that there is a little bit darker or just more of that brown wash on it. As well as if we turn it around here on the back, you'll see kind of the same thing. And then you can see an obvious difference there in the actual Ewok himself. On the right side, you've got, he's more brown with like a little mustache. On the left side, he's obviously more of like a gray color with that red hood. He has articulating arms, so they do move up and down as they do on some of the other figures. And then the base here, the stand that it comes on has a little teeny peg there on it, which can go inside of there. It's a friction fit. And then it also has a hole right here on the back. So you could put him in like that to be able to fly him around. Great feature to all of the stands that they have is that there is a dual function to them, which is really nice. Now, just really quick from a measurement perspective, if we're looking at this guy from side to side, he is a little over 2 inches, so maybe almost 2¼ inches from side to side. And then standing on this stand, it's about 1.5 inches, just over 1.5 inches tall. So that's cool to be able to have a glider that is definitely different in terms of the wash as well as the figure. That does help to add a little extra value to this Return of the Jedi set. Now, the other thing too that I want to compare this to really quick before we move on is actually the Action Fleet glider. So you can see a huge difference there in the details. So with the Action Fleet one, you obviously get the rope that's on there, and then you can see here's what the back looks like. I do like the Micro Galaxy version a little better. It looks a little more like bat wings versus this one. It just looks like a tarp on the edge of the thing, as well as you do get the Ewok that has the boulder. These were all hand painted back in the 90s. This is all machine done now. So then let's go ahead and we'll start from inside out with the speeders. So we're looking at Leia here first. So here is your Return of the Jedi Leia versus the Series 2 Leia, which was a challenge to find because of all of the issues with what we had with Series 2. So you can see there is definitely a paint difference there in the deco on her coat. So the paint detailing there is more of like a tan on the Return of the Jedi version versus the Series 2, where you can see it's more of like a brownish version. So here's, we turn these around to the back. Again, you can see that difference. The mold of the figure looks to be the exact same. No difference in that, but definitely a difference in the paint. Now, you can also see here, if you're looking at the speeder, again, the speeder is different. So in Series 2, they were still working out the color on the actual speeder, and they had this light brown speeder color. They corrected that as we got to Series 4, where we then started to get this brown color. And the great thing about this is this doesn't have any other markings on it. It's just a brown speeder. So you can see what that looks like. Now, if we take a look here at the stand, again, the stand has the two pegs, the one there and then the one here to be able to put it on the side if you wanted to do that, to be able to zip it around. And then this speeder as well has got some soft rubber on it. So the little foot pegs there are like a really soft rubber. The handlebar here is glued together, but it's soft, as well as this front part too. All of that I think bodes well still. I've had mine sitting here on the shelf for a while of the Series 2 ones, and they haven't warped very much. So I think these are going to hold up over the course of time. And again, really quick, we'll do a measurement of this one. So this is about 2 inches front to back. And then if we look at the figure as well, the Leia figure, you can see that she's just under an inch. That's just some blue tack I've got there on her foot to keep her on the stand. So that is your Leia. So now if we move on to Luke, move that out of the way. So here we have the Series 4 Luke on Endor versus your Return of the Jedi. So you can see those figures look to be pretty much the same. So you can see that tan color there on the coat looks very similar. The band on the helmet looks the same. The glove looks the same. Everything there looks to be pretty much identical. As we look at the actual speeder, this is the same speeder that we have with Leia. Really no difference. So in the Series 4 version, which is the one here in my right hand, this is one that came also with a clean speeder, but it's in this brown color, which is great. It's not in the tan. So this one does look to be pretty much the same. I can't see any differences here as I'm looking at this, either with the speeder or with the figure itself. So all of the measurements are the same. I won't go through the stand because the stand is the exact same as well. So then we get to our Scout Trooper. So here is our Scout Trooper from the Return of the Jedi set. So the Scout Trooper, and then here is our Scout Trooper from Series 4. And this is the Scout Trooper with the battle damage speeder bike, which the battle damage you can see right there, I'm pointing to with my finger, is just that little black mark on there. The Scout looks to be the exact same mold, same feet. They haven't changed that in all of the series that they've done so far. We'll spin them around here so you can see it from the back. The back looks, oops. The back looks to be the exact same as well. No differences. Now again, with the speeder, with our Series 4 one, you're going to get this little black mark there that is considered to be the battle damage part of the speeder. Beyond that, everything else is the same brown color, same stand. So then we get to our, really our fiery battle damage speeder that's coming with Return of the Jedi set. So I wanted to see this one compared to our Series 4 Chase. This is Pop Blue on his flaming speeder, and to see whether or not it's the same. And you can see there the mold is the exact same. So with all of the flames there on the back, exact same mold of the flames. And it is really cool. I do like that they included this one in here. It does help to create just a little bit more of that battle damage scene that you could have with Luke and Leia chasing after the Scout on the speeder. So that is all of your speeders and your Ewok and all of your Scout class items. So now what we'll go ahead and do is we'll look at the AT-ST. So starting with our figures themselves. So these pilots are the same. You can see maybe just a tiny bit of a hue difference there in the helmet. That the helmet from the Return of the Jedi one here is a little more green than the one on the right side. It looks like more like a greenish blue type of color. Other than that, the figure sculpt is the same, no differences. And these guys are 1 inch tall, as well as all of the other figures as well, even though I didn't measure all those. So now as we look at the actual AT-ST itself, we'll start here with just the differences between the two. You can obviously see the original version, this AT-ST here on the right side, was actually in Series 1, and it was named the Hoth AT-ST. So in Hoth, if you ever watched that, the AT-ST is actually a dark gray. When they originally released this line, they were putting a ton of wash on all of their vehicles, and they were using a brownish type of wash. And so not only is the plastic on this just not the right gray anyways, but they put this brownish wash on here, which I have largely cleaned a lot of that off of this. But even still, it ends up tinting it so much that it just doesn't look like a Hoth AT-ST. This might look like something that I would expect to see on Endor as it's tromping through the woods and it gets dirty some. So I do like that already the difference in the deco is that the one on the left side, the Endor one, is a lighter gray color. Still not quite the right color, but it's better than what we got with this version. Now, if we look at this from the deco perspective, they have quite a bit of green paint on here as this thing is, blasting through the forest and getting some, trees to hit up against it. It's got a lot of mud and stuff here on the bottom of the leg. These are all just painted on. This is not embossed or anything. And so you can see what that looks like as it comes around, all the way around to the other side. So quite a bit of paint. I don't mind it, to be honest. I think it looks okay. I think, it's obviously great to be able to have another version of the AT-ST versus the standard version. Now, if we look at this from a features perspective, start from top to bottom, you do get the cockpit here that opens, which is the same as what you're going to see with the standard version. It is a one-seater, so I know a lot of people complained about that in the first series, that it would have been really nice to be able to have a two-seater. They did not change the mold for this. It is still a one-seater. And then you've got your gun here on the front that articulates. You've got this one here on the side that articulates. This thing should be able to just pop right out as well. So be careful, because that will be very, very easy to lose. You want to make sure that that thing stays in there. And then you have an articulated head here, so it can move side to side. It turns like that. It doesn't really move up and down very much, so I can't even really get it to do that at all. So it will turn side to side. And then you do get a bunch of articulation here with the legs. So you get the joint there at the top, you get like the knee joint that articulates, and then you get the foot as well. All of that articulates, which is really nice because you can put this in tons of different poses as you're tromping around the forest floor of Endor. So if we take a look quick here at the measurements of this, so with its legs fully extended like that, this is roughly 4 inches tall. I would say it's going to be rare that you're probably going to have it in that position. It might be a little closer to the one on the right side, which is just a little bit less than that, maybe 3.5, 3 3/4. But you can obviously bend this thing down. Oh, there you go. That's how the leg actually will come off, just so you're aware of it. It is just a friction fit that just fits on there. So you can bend this thing down quite a bit to get it down really, really low to the ground if you wanted to. I mean, I would say, again, a lot of people won't end up doing that, but that will make it very, very small. If you look at this from a side-to-side perspective, this is about 1.5 inches. And that is that. Now, I wanted to look at this also compared to the other version of the AT-ST, which is really cool that we actually have 3 versions of this already, which is your Klatooinian version from the Mandalorian. So pretty cool to see those all next to one another. And then another thing I wanted to do here was compare this Endor AT-ST to the Endor AT-AT. So here is your Endor AT-AT. And so you could see them next to one another. They don't quite scale perfectly, which again is, if you've watched any of my other videos, I really don't care that much about scale, as long as it's relatively close. I mean, the AT-ST is supposed to be smaller than the AT-AT, and so it is, so I'm cool with that. The good thing about this is they use the exact same paint scheme, so we're not seeing a difference there in the green color or the brown. Those match, as well as some of the wash that's on here, because there is a light wash on it that is kind of like a lightish brown color, the same as what we're seeing here on the AT-AT, so they do match, and you could put them in the same scene together or play with them the same way if you wanted to, which is really nice. So one last thing here, we'll compare this really quickly to the AT-ST from Action Fleet. And so you can see how this one compares. The AT-ST from the Action Fleet version, unfortunately, just has the one hinge joint here at the top of the leg. There we go. And so you can see the size difference, obviously, between the two as well, that the Action Fleet AT-ST is much bigger than the Micro Galaxy version. From what I've heard, this is much closer to the correct scale relative to the figures being 1 inch tall. Again, if you're a scale person, that's great, but that won't match up very well to the AT-AT anymore. So that is all I've got. Thank you for tuning in and hanging with me this long. This is a great set. I would highly recommend picking it up. There are links in the description for my Amazon storefront that has all of the other Micro Galaxy Squadron products. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you watching, and I look forward to catching everybody on the next review.